Well, bowling fans are back at New Berlin Bowl 900 Global Summer Classic. With me is Chad Source, 900 Global staffer and UW-Milwaukee head bowling coach. And Chad, these bowlers had a lot to go through today. 9 games over 3 different lane patterns before they got to the show. And I think we got the cream of the crop for the ladies out here right now.
Absolutely. I think the bowlers that you're going to see really hit either one of the 2 patterns, or they were good on both patterns. But what you're really going to see coming up here in the roll-off is bowlers needing to make adjustments on both shots, never really getting comfortable about what they're doing on the lanes.
Yeah, we had 3 patterns earlier today. On the lanes here, we got 2 patterns you're going to see on our left lane. We're going to have a very short 36-foot long pattern. On our right lane's a long 47-foot long pattern. So like you said, adjustments got to be made, and they're going to be made on the fly. Lots of bowling coming up for New Berlin Bowl. Make sure you join Chad and I back in just a couple of moments to get that girls roll-off started.
The freight train will allow bowlers with above average rev rates to really open up the lane. Play rather deep, generating a lot of motion, and still finish hard through the pin deck. This ball really feeds off the heaviest of oil conditions. When we chose the aggressive S77 shell, we knew we had to elongate the core to provide more length, or we would have too much hook too early on the lane. By adding the energy block to the combustion core, we could raise the RG to get pushed down the lane, but also the energy block allows us to maintain the differential, which gives us that pronounced move to the pocket you see. The freight train has a perfect match of core and cover.
All right, we've got the roll-off here for the girls division. As we said in the opening, we've got 3 girls fighting for 1 spot in the semifinal match. Katie Zwiefelhofer in her first frame. Going to come up a little high, leave a 3-6-10, and action fast and furious as we get caught up here. Goes cross lane, switches to that polyester ball, and gets only 2 out of that, Chad.
Well, you could definitely see the first ball overreacting and then trying to make a correction on that and actually sending it too far right for the spare.
Our lefty on the field here, Nicole Powell. Little crossover on the long pattern on the right lane. Lucky to just leave a 4-pin. Cross lane at the spare and no problem covering it up.
Yep, and spares in this type of format, very, very important when you've got 2 different patterns left to right.
Kayla Crawford, new face on TV, only 15 years old with her first shot. Little left out of the hand, and on that short pattern, Chad, it's just not going to hold.
Oh, especially if you're throwing a very aggressive ball, it's pretty tough to get that thing going down the lane with a little slower speed.
Kayla stays with the same ball on the spare attempt, lucky to get both pins down going to the left.
Definitely looked like the ball rolled out towards the end, and that's probably what saved her right there.
Katie trying to just force that ball a little high, lucky to kick the 7 out. Once again, a 3-6-10 combination to shoot at, never easy on TV. But this time, make sure she gets all 3 pins with the ball.
Well, she made the spare, but she made it interesting, no doubt about that, Phil.
Nicole with that interesting start, looking down at her feet on her first step, and gets lucky to just roll the 5-pin out.
That short pattern is definitely giving all these bowlers all kinds of fits right now.
And they're going back and forth. Now we see Kayla on the long pattern get lucky to roll it out. So crossover's in vogue right now.
We'll see if Katie can make an adjustment off of her last shot. That looked a whole lot better. Definitely a little firmer with the speed, and further outside it looked like, though.
Nicole Powell looking for a double on the long pattern. Stays nice and direct with it and kicks the 7 out. Kayla Crawford looking to get back in the pocket on the short pattern. Still a little problem, but once again, the crossover can carry for you.
Hey, if you got him falling, you might as well stay right there.
Absolutely. We're going to get back to the live action here. We'll slow things down again, condense things for time a little bit. Katie up, looking for her first strike on the long pattern on lane 24 at New Berlin Bowl. Katie's ball speed would, you'd think, give her an advantage in this match, especially on the short pattern, but long you thought could get her in trouble, gets lucky to kick the 4-7 out.
Well, luckily, I mean, obviously her collegiate experience is helping her with that because she sees so many different patterns and some very difficult ones as well. So that direct approach works on a number of different patterns, and you're seeing why right there.
Yeah, both these patterns out here, as tough as you see the PBA Pros bowl on, tournament in and tournament out. So these young bowlers, junior gold, all of them bowled at junior gold this year. Had some nice showings out of them. And Another great trip on the 6-pin for Nicole.
But that was
this
a
time.
much better approach on that lane. You could see how much further left she was throwing it there. And on a shorter pattern, that's exactly what you want to do. 36 feet, your break point's going to want to be somewhere around board 4 or 5, and that's exactly where she played.
You need to get that ball out. You need to trust it out near the gutter for it to hold pocket. Otherwise, we saw a lot of crossovers all day out of all the bowlers on the short pattern. Kayla kind of steered that one a little bit, but she's living in that 1-2 pocket, Chad, just like we lefties do.
And well, right, yeah. If we're not going to use it, somebody might as well. But, on a longer pattern, you see that with a lot of bowlers that they think they have to force the ball to get to the pocket instead of trusting it and just letting it roll there.
Yeah, there's only 13 feet of drive between the end of the pattern and the pocket, but that's still enough time for a nicely rolled bowling ball to get there. Katie with a great shot. You see that ball speed coming into play, even with a little bit more of an inside line.
Definitely is. Her experience is starting to take over here. You can see the adjustment she's made, how much more confident she is on the lane. Great shot right there.
Oh, and Katie, 2 years in a row, she's made the USBC Intercollegiate Singles Championships, made the TV show from Omaha this last year. It was on CBS Sports Network. Not the showing she was looking for on that, but she's looking to set a women's record with getting there for the 3rd year in a row next season. Nicole going to be a high school senior this year and just gets that 10 out of there.
That was a great break right there. What looked like it might have been a 5-10 split. Both of them end up falling, and that gives her 4 in a row right now.
For as nervous as all these bowlers seem to be in practice with having to deal with 2 different patterns, 2 different types of shots they have to throw out there on TV, I'd be surprised. If you would have said Nicole had a 4-bagger early, I would have been very surprised. See what Kayla can do here. Kayla just finished in the top 16 at the Junior Gold Championships in Indianapolis. One of our Youth Challenge bowlers didn't make this tournament. A.J. Johnson finished in first at that for the under 20 division, and he's going to make Junior Team USA for a 2nd year in a row. And Kayla, a little bit of a bad break there just to leave that 10-pin.
Well, you can see the ball went a little bit high, so she tripped out the 4-7, which was a good break, but she had, it looked like the 4-pin leaning against the 10. That could have fallen for her.
So she's going to move well to the left on the approach, switch to a polyester bowling ball. She's not happy with it out of her hand, and that short pattern bit her right there.
Yeah, a lot of times you think the ball is going to hook even your plastic ball, so you try and overthrow it just a little bit. What happens, your right shoulder for a righty ends up leading the shot, and you pass it up to the left.
Well, Katie working on a 3-bagger here, but even with that 3-bagger, that first frame open leaves her down by over 2 marks. Looking to cut that lead down to 11 pins. If she can strike here. How about the bucket crumbler?
Wow, that was, I actually thought that was a much better shot than that, too. It looked like it was going to bite, so I don't know if she threw it just a little harder, if she missed it a little at the bottom of the swing, but great break for her, and that gives her now 4 in a row.
Yeah, the head pin went to the sidewall, hit the 4-pin from behind, and slid it up into the 2-pin. A great break for Katie. Keeping up with a fast and furious action here. Nicole Powell looking for 5 in a row, and that's going to bring her back to the field with that shot.
Definitely, there's the short pattern coming. Your ball's going to hook so much more on that pattern. It hit the edge of it, and it just took off.
Well, I think Nicole here is going to make sure she gets count. She was only up by 11 pins before. No matter what, she's going to be behind Katie unless she converts it. Odds of that are about 50-1 on this show. Well, she gave it a little bit of a run, but 2 = 4 on those counts when you have strikes, and that's going to put her down by 6 pins instead of just a couple. See what Kayla can do here before we get into the commercial break for this match. Looking to bounce back off that open. She's had a little better look on this long pattern on lane 24. The World 10-Pin Bowling Association Paris pattern. But once again, it's just that little force early, all it takes to get it to go high.
That's right, Phil. And 310, it's difficult to make it on a house condition. On a tournament condition, it's even more difficult. Plus, now add into the fact this is a tournament game, it gets really tough.
Kayla's high series, though, 685. Let's see, I started bowling when I was 15, and my 685 happened when I was 22, so pretty amazing talent out of this young lady here. Just slides behind it, getting into the commercial break. Chad Source and I are going to be back from New Berlin Bowl with the rest of this 2012 900 Global Summer Classic roll-off match in just a couple of minutes, so make sure you stay tuned. There's limited availability in New Berlin's fall bowling leagues. Call to reserve your spot today. Come in and enjoy the daily food and beverage specials inside the Ale House. Our spacious and comfortable banquet facility can host your business meeting or your wedding reception. New Berlin Ale House on Cleveland Avenue in New Berlin. All right, we had the Bowlers Bowl during the commercial break here at New Berlin Bowl for the 900 Global Summer Classic. Katie Zwiefelhofer in her 7th frame. Almost rolls out that 2-pin again from behind, but just a little light on the short pattern on lane 23. Not too much of a problem covering it up there, Chad?
Now, single pins, we definitely take a lot of time at the college level practicing because they're just so important.
Just dead right out of Nicole's hand there. Leaves another 4-10 combination split as she did in the 6th frame. This time she makes sure she gets 1 pin to help keep her close, but still moves her down by 16 pins to Katie. Kayla Crawford, 7th frame, looking for a good shot on the short pattern. She gets her first strike of the day.
Very nice shot right there. Rolled right into the pocket where you needed it. You could see the deflection of the ball was perfect. Took out the 1, 3, 5, and 9 like it's supposed to. Great ball right there.
Absolutely. 6 gets a lot of work done on the 10 to slap it out. 3 frames to go here. Katie Zwiefelhofer in the driver's seat, as we've seen her in many Youth Challenge matches before on TV over the years. So, plenty of tournament wins. She is our tournament title leader in the Youth Challenge Series with 7 titles. And an interesting spare combination to try to make in a long pattern here, Chad, with the 3-9 for a righty.
Especially for a righty. A lefty, you could say, okay, well, I'm just going to bump a little bit left and let the ball hook and hit both of them. But a righty's got to watch out for this, that they don't send it too far right or tug it just a little bit.
So moves a little to the left off of her strike line, and that ball just kind of hydroplaned in the oil and never turned over.
Yeah, that's definitely the long pattern right there. You could see it just skidded and skidded. It never got into its hook or roll until real late in the throw.
Well, that really tightened the matchup. Everybody's within 9 pins of each other in the 8th frame here. Nicole Powell using kind of an older ball there. It looks like an Ebonite Mission 2.0, so she's using something that's a little bit older, probably a little worn in the track of the ball, and a little tamer for her reaction down lane on that short pattern. And wow, once again, it gets a little right on that short pattern, and you missed the head pin right. You're lucky to just get 7 there.
Well, it looked like her feet were a little quick on that. When your feet get to the line fast, everything's all waist up, so she just tugged that one. Hopefully she'll make an adjustment here and run the spare down.
And especially with the ball hooking from the left side, easy to chop that head pin or the 1-2 off the 4. So no gimme on the spare here for Nicole. Great balance at the line. Gets
much better, yeah. The timing was much better on that one. You could see it just looked much better off her hand.
And these young bowlers out here, I mean, Nicole, 17 years old. Kayla coming up right now, 15 years old. Just amazing the talent and the great coaching that these bowlers get at the levels in high school, especially in Illinois with it being a certified high school sport through their version of the WIAA. Kayla, as we mentioned, finished in the top 16 at Junior Gold this year in the girls under 15 division. Jordan Newham, you saw her on our last show at the Border Battle, and Amanda Garrett, who you've seen make a lot of our Youth Challenge shows, all finished in the under 15 girls top 16, so nice showing by the Youth Challenge bowlers down there.
Yeah, it's always good to see the state bowlers go down there and have a good showing. I know when they first started doing junior golds, a lot of our bowlers struggled, but through your tournaments, that was not good, and you could tell she knew it right off her hand. But going back to that, your tournaments have really helped out. There's a lot of other tournaments around, so definitely helping out our youth bowlers.
Yeah, and a new tournament series out of Badger Bowl in Madison called the Wisconsin Rolled the Gold Series. Should be an interesting tournament. Going to hold on the last Sunday of every month. A great chance for kids to get junior gold spots. If you look on Facebook, if you look for Wisconsin Rolled the Gold, you can find all the information about that tournament series on there as well. John Anderson, the manager out of Badger Bowl, and Mary Conklin, whose daughter Lindsay bowls collegiately as well. Two of the big figures behind that tour.
You can see Katie left another 2-pin, and right now with her competitors leaving opens, these aren't the worst things in the world to have to shoot at.
No, you're in the driver's seat. Make your opponents try to pass you, and right now she still has that lead. Kayla Crawford needs to strike out for 202. If Katie goes strike spare in the 10th, it's 205, so no matter what, Katie's kind of in charge of her own destiny here. 3 strikes in the 10th frame could get Katie into the semifinal match against Amanda Van Dyne, and Mandi we've seen quite a few times on TV over the last season as well. Nice balance out of Nicole at the line, and that needs to come up nicely.
Very nice mixer there. Great approach on that shot. Everything looked good.
And she's trying to play pretty similar lines on both lanes, even though obviously with the oil difference she has to throw a different bowling ball on each lane. but try to keep the physical game similar between the two lanes, and it seems to be helping her out right now. She's made a couple of pretty clutch shots early on, and now she's really caught up in the 9th frame, and a great trip with a 4-9 there for Kayla.
Yeah, just a little high, but it wasn't that bad of a shot at all.
In that shorter pattern, the ball gets to face up a little bit early. Let's see if we get a replay here in that 4-9. Yeah, you just watch that ball face up and just get the 4-9 out of there. And that's a pretty aggressive bowling ball she's using, but she's kind of doing the turn and burn outlook with that. Once the ball burns its energy off, it's going to go pretty straight into the pocket, and hopefully no surprises. Katie, last time in this lane, she crossed over, left the 3-9, and a little bit of the yank there again, and there goes this match. If she doesn't convert this spare, it's really going to give Kayla and Nicole a chance to pass her. She's going to give this a shot here. Gets well to the left side of the approach, but not far enough to the right, and that's going to give her 192, Chad. Well, Nicole can go spare strike here for 202.
Yep, she just needs to mark here, and that's going to move her on, so we'll see what kind of approach she has. It is going to be the short lane, so you never know what's going to happen over here, so we'll watch and see what this throw brings.
Yeah, last time on the short lane, she didn't even hit the head pin. The time before that, she went right through the nose, so see what she can do to make an adjustment here. And that's once again right out of her hand, but the crossover comes in for the win.
Boy, I guess whatever it takes to win. Yeah, she just pointed that a little bit, whether in her head she said, I really want to make sure I get this ball to the head pin, but she got the break when she needed it.
Wow, look at that 6-pin go out, or pardon me, 4-pin go out. There's a lot of righties that are jealous of that trip 4 right there. Saw a lot of shots today here in New Berlin Bowl, especially on the short pattern where the right-handers were leaving 4s and the lefties were leaving 6s just because of how hard that ball was coming in the last few feet. A much better shot.
There we go. Well, and you could tell she knows she's moving on. Much more relaxed shot. That was darn near perfect right there.
So she's going to move on to face Mandi Van Duyn in her semifinal match. Top seed today. Stephanie Schwartz waiting in the wings, and Stephanie I think would just choose the bowl on lane 24, the long pattern, because for the 3-game set in qualifying, 753 Stephanie had on the long pattern. So I think we'll see Stephanie finish on lane 24 in her match no matter what.
Pretty safe bet, Phil.
A great finish there by Nicole for 221. We'll get Kayla up on the lane here. She's going to finish out. First time on TV for her, 15 years old. I'll tell you what, and especially with that top 16 finish at Junior Gold this year in Indianapolis, something tells me she could be in the running for High School Bowler of the Year in Illinois in the next couple of seasons. Bowls for United Township High School in Silvis, Illinois. Nice post at the foul line. Scrambles them up for a double.
That's a great shot, especially here at New Berlin, where sometimes the carry can be a little more difficult. Hitting them light like that, making the pin splash, that looked very nice.
Yeah, you don't have to have the 600 RPM rev rate and the 25-mile-an-hour ball speed of a Jason Belmonte to get those pins to mix nicely if you have a good, strong roll at the ball at the pocket. Of course, it doesn't hurt to have the 600 rev rate and the 25-mile-an-hour ball speed. Just a tad high. Use the 4-pin, but hey, I'll tell you what, a $190, if $191 if she makes this, a $190 in the bag already for her first time on TV at 15 years old, pretty impressive.
Well, especially when they're bowling on 2 different patterns. I mean, this type of format, the bowlers can never really get comfortable because you've always got to be thinking about your next shot, what adjustments you're making. So all 3 of these bowlers did fantastic today.
Goes to cover that up, just a little bit to the left in that spare. We're going to go let Chad do some recruiting here on Nicole and Kayla between matches. And we're going to get back with our semifinal match here from New Berlin Bowl for the 900 Global Summer Classic in just a couple of minutes.
The Look is the strongest back-ending ball in the new 900 Global lineup. With a high 255 RG and 050 differential, the Look will easily get down the lane, saving its power. Then look out for a hard turn as it exits the oil pattern.
One match in the books here for New Berlin Bowl for the 2012 900 Global Summer Classic. Chad, we got Amanda Van Duyn and Nicole Powell here. Nicole coming off a 221 game, but Amanda got to see how the ladies were playing the lanes. Who's your favorite in this match coming in?
I don't know if there is one. I mean, obviously Mandi's going to be a little fresher. Like you said, she's got some intel of watching the other girls bowl, but at the same time, Nicole's got momentum on her side.
Mandi did pretty well today on that short pattern. She won the short pattern earlier today, but because she was second in total pins, she got her bye into the semifinal match. And she comes out great with a strike right there.
Yeah, really firm with the ball speed, but once again, I mean, you can just see how the ball is just going right through the pins exactly how it should. Great shot by Mandi to open up the match.
I love that slow-mo cam. I wish I had that in leagues sometimes so I could see why I was leaving 7-9s. So we'll see what Nicole can do here. Get out of the gate strong. And once again, she had the problem with pushing it right the last match in the long pattern, and a big break to get that 8-pin out from behind the 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's just that she has to slow down just that little bit, but definitely went up there, and you could see that left shoulder pointing forward.
Yeah, you can see the nerves amping up. She's got the rosin bag back there, patting it in her hand, bouncing up and down. So even with the match under the belt, still the nerves going on out there, and not the world's easiest spare here. In a long pattern, easily get that ball rolling late and chopping it. And of course, I got to throw the jinx on her by telling her exactly how to miss that.
That was great right there, Phil. I think she's probably never going to want you to say anything again about her.
Sorry about that, Nicole. Yeesh, yeah, you just see right there the ball faced up right on the head pin and chop that right off. But if you're going to leave an open frame, do it in frame number 1 because there's still 279 out there.
That's right, and you can easily cover that up now anywhere throughout the match. We'll see how she recovers from that open.
Looks nice. That looked just like the last 2 balls she threw in the 10th frame of the last match, Chad.
And that's, in some ways, having to open the first frame, you go, well, I'm going to throw another frame right away. I'm going to put that behind me, and that's exactly what she did. Best possible case for her right there. Nice shot.
Well, here's where Mandi kind of struggled a little bit late in the qualifying round before TV on the long pattern. And she had a few shots, I watched her late, and she had a few shots. She was kind of forcing the ball high a little bit. See if she can get rid of that right now. And just a hair high. It looked like it was on line from where she was playing earlier today. Maybe the lane's hooking a little bit more with the wear on the lanes from the last match.
Well, we had 3 bowlers throwing pretty aggressive equipment the last match. So, yeah, the lanes are going to change. It looks like all the girls are playing roughly in the same part of the lane as well.
Switches to that polyester ice blue spare ball. Goes cross lane at, and Mandi's spare game is pretty solid. You don't make 4 Youth Challenge TV shows in a season with a bad spare game. No doubt about that. Well, Stephanie Schwartz practicing off in the distance. She was our leading qualifier today. Whoever wins this match is going to run into a buzzsaw, I think, with Stephanie out there. Led qualifying by over 90 pins. Made a lot of it up on the long block. She was 70 pins higher than anybody else on the long block with her 753 series. So she's licking her chops, waiting to take on the winner of this match. Another good shot by Mandi out of her hand, and kicks the 10 out again.
Great look on the left lane on that short pattern. You could see on the approach how far over to the right that she moved. So she was playing pretty far over, which is right where you want to.
And she's using a pretty aggressive ball, a Marvel on the left lane. She's using the Nexus on the right. So they're both very aggressive balls, but I think that Marvel has a little smoother motion for her. Helps tame down that short pattern a little bit and help her stay in the pocket. Nicole, once again, a little right out of the hand. Ooh, big break to leave just a 2.
Right, yeah. Now, she just needs to kind of regroup and go, all right, on this right lane, I got to try something different. I got to just, anything different, a different look right now, a different ball. But something needs to change for sure.
So I think she's throwing a Black Widow Nasty on the right lane here. So that's a ball that's still got a little bit of pop on the back end. Even though it's a kind of almost looks like a polished surface cover, it's still enough for Nicole with her slower ball speed. She's in around the 16-mile-an-hour range. She's not looking for a real sudden change of motion on the end of a 47-foot pattern because you get yourself into a lot of trouble in a hurry with that if you have a little slow ball speed. Looks at her feet, gets the ball set. And the interesting part of her game again, looks at her feet into her first step and then looks out at her target on lane. 4 steps into the pocket, and once again, I think she's getting real comfortable in lane 23 now.
I think both bowlers are. I think if they stopped right now and you gave them the option, I think both of them would say, we'll just finish out on 23. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if they were bowling the old Kugich's West Milwaukee Best Ball Tournament, they'd have the front 4 right now.
There you go.
Little blast in the past for everybody watching. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years since, or been over 10 years since Kugich's has been gone. And this is the old Kugich's New Berlin, now New Berlin Bowl. It's been open for 5 seasons now, and a great job by the entire staff out here. I want to thank our host Landon Karras, the bowling manager here, and everybody and New Berlin Bowl. Great host again today, and I know we had breaks during each block as they railed the lanes. A lot of food being consumed by the bowlers to keep the energy up. And a great cover.
Yeah, and you could tell Mandi didn't like it off her hands, so she got a nice break there. Still filled the frame, and that's all that matters.
Well, and sometimes, too, you can still, even right-handed, with a polyester ball, it doesn't hook much, you can chop the 6-pin off the 9-pin, and she proved it right there by just sliding that 9-pin over almost in the 7-pin spot. Let's see what we're going to do here, getting into the commercial break for this match. So far, on this lane, she's 2 for 2. Look at it, just whip that arm through at the top of the swing. And I think she just gave that one a little extra there, Chad.
Yeah, it looked like she either caught it a little bit at the bottom, a little more, or missed by 1 or 2 boards to the left. It wasn't a bad shot by any means. It was close.
Yeah. And it's just a matter of, it's such a tough pattern out here. If you miss, this isn't your Friday Night League shot. If you miss by a couple of boards, you're definitely going to go high or miss the head pin entirely. No problem covering that up. We're going to fix that rack on lane 24 during the commercial break. Join Chad Source and I back from New Berlin Bowl for the rest of this match in just a couple of minutes. Well, it's catch-up mode here for Nicole Powell at New Berlin Bowl, down by 9 pins after the first half of our semifinal match here for the 900 Global Summer Classic on the Youth Challenge Series. Last 2 shots on this lane, she struggled with a little bit, Chad.
And that one you could see, remember I told you, try a different line. Well, she definitely did. Unfortunately, she tried to play too far left on that. Now, on the left lane, that probably was going to be a real nice looking ball.
Yeah, on the right lane with 47 feet of oil all the way on the outside. She's lucky that she got the 2-pin in that shot. There were quite a few 3 off the side today on the long pattern.
5 counts, too.
Yep. Washouts. Yeah. Even though there's 13 feet of drag, you got to get the ball to turn over, and she showed it right there. The ball didn't have enough chance to turn over to get all 3 pins out with the ball, and goes from 9 down to 21 down in a heartbeat. And she needs to turn this around in a hurry, because with Mandi's experience on the lanes, she smells blood in the water. She's going to bite down and start throwing strikes. Switches to that Mission 2.0. It's got to be about a 3-year-old ball she's using on the left lane there, but with that short pattern, keep that ball tame. And hey, that's the break everyone's looking for when they're bowling.
Wow. That was a fantastic shot right there. And, you know, in some ways you just kind of throw your arms up and go, all right, what's next?
5-pin just sawed off straight back. 9-pin just kind of wiggles and laughs at you, but you got to just keep your composure and make it. You can't afford to give any more pins away to your opponent. No problem. Oh, maybe she switched balls there. I didn't catch that earlier. She switched to that Black Widow Venom, and that's got a lot more back end. Maybe more than she anticipated, and just barely got that 9-pin out.
That's okay. On the score sheet, it still says spare.
Yep. 900 Global sponsoring the event today. We want to thank Eric Thomas and all the staff of 900 Global for jumping on board another Youth Challenge event. They sponsored a couple events over this past season, and we always appreciate the support from the bowling industry. And Mandi Van Duyn, once again, left on lane 24. I think she's going to make a big move soon, Chad.
Yeah, you know, obviously, you look at everything that's written about a long pattern, and it's going to tell you to move inside, and all of these bowlers right now are playing very close to the second arrow or a little bit right of it. So maybe she has to make a pretty big move left.
Gets the one to make sure she stays in the lead. I should keep her up by 9 pins if my math is right. 8 pins. That's why we have the statistician and the graphics guy to keep me in check here with pin counts on the lanes. Bowlers Pro Shop, our friend Joey Serrar, just back from a nice summer break. Want to thank him for all his help in the past, and he's got a lot of Pro Shop specials going on. I know Dwight Albrecht here, the Pro Shop at New Berlin Bowl at spare time. He's got some stuff going on too. So get those bowling balls drilled up early and make them 900 Global bowling balls.
You got a lot of good stuff coming out right now, Phil. The Freight Train, the Look, the Sure Thing, all of them are great. And I tell you, watching these bowlers throw on this short and long pattern, that Freight Train would look really good in their hands right about now.
Well, I used a train on a long pattern here in the Sport League at New Berlin Bowl during the summer, and I averaged 15 pins higher than I did last season, just with the ball change. So, and you know, no extra practice, nothing different. Joey Serrar drilled it up great for me, and next thing I know, making my spares, and I'm averaging 198 on a long pattern. Not quite ready for the PBA Tour yet, but for Summer League, I'm going to take it. I think Nicole would like to take a few of my strikes from the Sport League on the long pattern and get him out here because once again, forces that ball a little bit high. She's got way over-under, but it's not the good over-under. It's the over out to the right and the under out to the left.
Yeah, right now she's definitely no man's land on that short pattern, or I'm sorry, on the long pattern. The short pattern, she's hitting pretty well. The last shot, she had that cold 9-pin.
Well, the good thing for Nicole is she finishes up this match on the short pattern. Bad thing for Mandi is she finishes up on the long pattern, and Mandi still hasn't thrown a strike yet on lane 24. And Nicole, I think she's got the sights set in that lane, Chad.
Yeah, once again, I think if you had to ask her, hey, if you give me an extra $100, you can just bowl in the left lane, I'm pretty sure she'd pony that up in a heartbeat.
Well, it could be interesting next match as well because, as we said, Stephanie Schwartz just buried everybody else in competition on the long pattern, and we got one bowler locked in on the short, one bowler locked in on the long. If Nicole makes it through, and Mandi's been pretty locked in on the short as well, so it could be interesting. Who solves the bad lane for them could win that final match, and could win this one.
And it might not even be who solves it, it's who makes the fewest mistakes on that pattern or who leaves themselves the easier of the spares to make.
A 3-6 here, switches to that polyester ball. And wow, I thought even with polyester it was going to not slide as far to cover that spare. She really didn't give it much room to the right, but just enough where she just gave the lead to Nicole by 1 pin. Well, time for getting some confidence back here, Mandi, on this left lane.
She just needs to take her time and just make her shot. You start to force things, bad things happen.
3 for 4 on this lane so far, and just crept up a hair high on her.
Yeah, that looked a lot like, what was that, the 5th frame, Phil, where she left almost the same thing. The ball almost reacted the same. Once again, not a bad shot at all. It looked pretty good, just a little bit at the end.
Doesn't take much. Moves across lane again. Gonna pick up the 6-10 to try to stay within a pin. I need some help. And not the way they draw it up on those bowling diagrams to make it, but she'll take it getting into the 10th frame. And still in this match, Nicole Powell, her maximum score right now, 204. Mandi's maximum would be 183. So if Nicole can get a double here in the 9th and 10th, it'll move her into the final match against Stephanie Schwartz. Looks pretty good out of her hand. And
not quite.
She had a similar shot on that lane during the first game and just barely got the 10 out. So you can't lose it over your emotions or anything right now. You gotta focus and make sure you make this single pin and keep that 1 pin lead since she is working on a strike. Relatively straight at it and just tickles it down.
It's a great approach at it, and this is exactly what you want. We're going to the 10th. It's a 1-frame match right now. It's the 10th frame, and that's it.
But the thing is, Nicole's on a lane she's obviously more comfortable on. Mandi's gonna have to gut up and grin up and chin up and try to get all 3 in the 10th. If Nicole doesn't get all 3 in the 10th, it's basically 1 pin match at this time. Oh, we saw that. We saw her win the first match on a similar shot with the crossover. You can see she's got that wry smile on the way back going, yeah, I really don't want to throw it like that, but you can't give the crossovers back. Remember back in the day during pot games, we used to count those as 10 and a spare.
Yeah, that's about right, yeah.
We wouldn't let you get away with those crossover strikes at Strakota's Millshire. Just the interesting way she looks down at her feet at her first step, and a much better shot to kick that
one.
second.
Yeah, they count the same on the board, but that definitely was a much better shot right there.
No, it's pretty simple right now. Strike here, and it doesn't matter what Mandi does in the 10th frame. Strike on the 12th shot, move into that final match. Get that bonus merchandise awards and bonus scholarship money that's out there for the finals today. They're both wearing EFX bands. Oh, how about that?
That's the way to lock it out. Very good shot by Nicole right there at the end.
EFX with the bonus today, a $200 bonus in the girls division. Nicole's wearing an EFX band. Mandi's wearing hers, but Mandi's going to go home a little empty-handed. Still takes home some nice high five merchandise prizes and EFX prizes as well. Stephanie Schwartz and Nicole Powell bowling out for that $200 bonus scholarship in the final match. A lot of money on the line there, considering top prize today earlier was $250. So they had to bowl 9 games and get paid off on each individual block to win that. Gonna just try to take 2, get out of the way. Not the showing Mandi was looking for there with a 158 game against Nicole Powell's 184. Chad and I will be back from New Berlin Bowl to get this final match underway for the 900 Global Summer Classic in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you stay tuned.
As you see here, the motion is strong, defined, and predictable. The downlane continuation and overall hook generated by the perfect pairing of the SRC core and F74 cover will make this ball an instant favorite.
Bowling fans, you waited all day for it. The girls' championship here at the 900 Global Summer Classic. Stephanie Schwartz going to lead things off in lane 23, and after that huge set to take the lead in the tournament, having to wait around for almost an hour to get out here and bowl, Chad, she's in for a tough match against Nicole. No gimmies here.
Yeah, you know, I actually really prefer, if I'm in a stepladder final, of coming up through the bottom of the stepladder final, because you just build all this momentum. The crowd gets behind you, and I just had a lot of fun doing it that way.
Steph, nice and outside, but wow, that ball reads super early for her on that first shot, and we've seen plenty of those on the left lane today with the 3-6-10.
Absolutely, you could see the ball, the motion of it going down the lane was really good, and then wow, it just made a left turn.
Yeah, it covered about 16 boards and about 18 feet there after it's gotten to a strong roll. So she's throwing a Storm Rain on that left lane. She's throwing a Vivid on the right. So 2 definite, distinct ball choices for Stephanie out there today. Both relatively aggressive, but we've seen the bowlers use aggressive equipment on that left lane, trying to tame it down and just get into a turn and burn kind of roll for them. So.
And it's interesting because, you know, for the viewers out there that might be wondering, why are you throwing such an aggressive ball? Well, a lot of times the duller equipment is going to be more even reacting, so it rolls down the lane instead of snaps. So sometimes that's why you see that. And now we see another crossover, but it's on the right lane, so she's probably really happy with that.
She's got the miss room down. If you're going to miss big. Or just big enough in this case. And you can see that head pin rolls back, takes out the 5 and the 8. Ball takes out the 3-6-10. See if she can build that momentum with a double here on the short pattern, the 36-foot long pattern. Plays well to the outside of the lane, and just a hair slow it looked like.
Yeah,
Chad.
Definitely it looked like she went up there a little slower, and that is an ugly spare to have to make for a left-handed bowler, because, boy, you don't know what you got to do. Do I throw a ball at hooks and then risk chopping off the 2-8? Do I throw the ball that's going to deflect a little bit and risk missing the 8-pin?
Yeah. And it's tough going back and forth with little changes in the physical game, little changes in what ball you use. And once again, even on a shorter pattern, when you get those sleeper pins, tough spares to make. PBA Tour is about 65% on sleeper conversions when they're on your dominant hand side of the lane, and we can see it right there. Even with an aggressive bowling ball and a short pattern, still didn't get a chance to roll up and take that 8-pin out. Well, we've seen Steph jump on these advantages in matches before. Interesting starting position for her. We've seen that on one other bowler, Kyle Anderson, where the same leg foot is out in front. She has her right foot out in front of her stance with her being a right-handed bowler, but she makes it work for her, because usually they say the athletic position, Chad, is the right foot behind the left foot in the athletic setup.
And I've noticed Nicole does it as well. Her left foot is forward, and sometimes, actually now one of the new coaching ideas out there is you can close up your stance and help get the ball going left or right, depending on what hand you are, if you just change positions with your feet. So that could be what she's thinking of right there.
Could be, yeah. You can't see through the ball return there, but it looks like her feet were a little more even on that left lane. And a big break to trip out that 4.
That is a huge shot right there to put that double up there with Nicole on an open. It kind of sends a message of, now you got to come and take this match from me.
Exactly. We've seen Nicole struggle on that left lane, pardon me, on the right lane here all day. She's got the left lane pretty much down other than that open. In frame number 2, she had a great finish in the semifinal match. Yeah, you said it right there, Chad. You watched his feet very even on the bottom. Once again, though, going to the right. Hey, Steve Grabowski makes an appearance.
If I were her, I'd stay right there. That's 2 in a row that have done the same thing. I wouldn't change a thing.
It's not about how it looks once it's on the scoreboard, because you can't take it off. And we've all been there. There were nights where you hit the pocket, nothing falls, you cross over a couple times, everything carries, and it's not pretty, but sometimes you got to get away with it. See what Nicole can do here to try to get a double. Much better out of her hand. Yeah, much better with the speed control in that
there
shot.
we go. That's the way to answer. When your opponent throws up a double, you go up there and you say, I can do this too.
See if we can get a look on the replay of that. Just the prettiest strike in the book when you send all 10 pins back, nothing left on the deck, split the 8 and 9. That's just a gorgeous strike. It's one of those ones that they put in the cover of those bowling textbooks. See Stephanie there? Gets herself lined up, flexes those knees. Short 4 steps to the line. And she kind of elbowed that shot, Chad.
Yeah, there was a little more speed, a little, yeah, like you said, she cut it a little short right there. You know, a hair slower, and it's a perfect swishing strike right there. But
yeah, you get a little bit, the elbow kind of flared a little bit early on the shot, and it kind of changes the rotation of the ball, how hard it can change direction on the back end, and it just was a little more gradual than the last shot in that lane. So switches to the polyester ball, which is interesting in a long pattern. She's going to go dead straight at it. And she was worried about it all the way down.
oh yeah. But I mean, you know, the theory behind that is if you put your right shoulder on the 2-pin and you throw it straight off your hand, it's almost impossible to chop the spare. So that's why, you know, you see that more and more now.
So lead still 8 pins, that double early on.
And you can see right there, she changed her feet position to now with the right foot back.
Helps her get the ball a little farther out to the right, but it needed a couple more boards there, and once again, not an easy spare here with the 3-6-10. Goes back to the rosin bag. You'll see her, it's her best friend during competition, that rosin bag a lot of times. You'll see her back in the settee area, flipping it in her hand, but it gets rid of a little nervous energy for a bowler.
It's a great distraction just to allow your brain to stop thinking as much and just concentrate on your next shot.
Goes cross lane at the spare, looking to get all 3 with the ball. Does it successfully, and we've got one more commercial break for the afternoon. We're going to take that right now. Join us for the rest of the 2012 900 Global Summer Classic in just a couple of minutes.
All right, now to dig.
Halfway through the championship match here at New Berlin Bowl, the 2012 900 Global Summer Classic. And Chad, Nicole's got to find a way to settle down over here in the right lane because crossovers aren't going to carry forever for her.
No, she's got to definitely make a shot here. And even if she goes up there and leaves something solid in the pocket, she can go, wow, that's the approach I need. That's a better shot.
Much more square at the line this time. And yeah, a little bit of a lack anti-angular kind of got her on this ring and 7-pin.
But she can look at that and say, all right, I got something to work with here, and hopefully she can slow down a little bit, lower the ball maybe, or hit it a little bit harder at the bottom, but she can make an adjustment off of it.
Just a little bit of deflection right at the pocket, made that 4-pin ring around the 7. She's been pretty good with her spare game all day. Didn't jinx her that time.
There we go.
Yeah, that's one thing that Nicole, I know, really takes pride in is her spare game. She works a lot on it. A lot of these kids from Illinois get together, especially from Orland Park area, Tinley Bowl. They run a great youth program at Tinley Bowl, and they do a lot of tournaments for the kids down there. They're always working on their games. You'll probably find 5 or 6 of our youth challenge bowlers at Tinley Bowl at any given day of the week. And another surprise, a strike in lane 23 for Nicole.
That was a good 2 frames for Nicole right there. You know, the 7-pin on the right lane and then going up there and just flushing a strike on the left lane.
And the key now is just staying within that mark. Your opponent's working on a spare, so they can't run away from you right now. You see Steph going to that rosin bag, making sure that hand is nice and dry before it gets in the bowling ball. Of course, other stuff drilled by Lenny Borsch at Bowler's Choice Pro Shop inside of Castle Lanes. Gasoline's another one of our great sponsors here on the U Challenge Tour, just like New Berlin Bowl is. And high flush.
That was definitely the key word for that shot. High flush.
So, well, with this being the last tournament of the U Challenge Series for the 2011-12 season, some of these kids taking the summer off. Junior goal's done. They're going to take a couple of weeks off of bowling until they get back in the swing of things again in late August. And, of course, kids have interests outside of bowling. We've got Stephanie here with swimming, shopping, and golf. I know her brother David had a hole-in-one last year. Golfing, he's a pretty accomplished golfer as well. And the reverse blown 5, as Bo Burton used to say on the PBA telecast in the 80s. Taking that 5-pin on the crossover and sending it the wrong way. That looks like one of my lefty strikes right there, Chad. Just mixing everything up was perfect.
Oh, I thought you meant it deflected that bat to the left.
Oh, that too. I was trying to hide that part. So, Nicole here working on a strike. Looking to get a double here in the 7th frame, and she has to double to stay within a mark. Nicely out of her hand, and she's carried the mixers well on that lane today when she's gotten light in the pocket.
And now she's had back-to-back shots on the right lane that have been somewhere around the pocket, so she's got to probably get a boost of confidence from that.
Watch that head pin do a lot of damage on the bucket. 9-pin, last pin to go down. Looking for 3 in a row here. And the way she's bowled on this left lane all day, I'd have to give her a good shot at it right here. That needs to hold. That really found friction a little early, Chad.
Yeah, it really did. And it could be just the fact of how much bowling has gone on for her. Even though she's the only lefty, between the lights, the condition, the ball she's using, that's going to change the condition drastically for the amount of time she's bowled on it.
And all it takes is the one shot where it just gets a little slow and bites 6 inches earlier on the lane and ends up going right through the head pin. Takes the 2, so she keeps herself within 22 pins. The 212 possible finish, but Stephanie, if she goes spare strike the rest of the sheet right now, she'd be in 220 range as well. So, and Stephanie's not the kind of opponent that makes a mistake for you. Nice 4 steps. Really torqued on it at the line, and you could see a little extra torque. You saw that back foot come up a little harder than normal.
Yeah, she stood up out of her stance at the end there and just pulled it across her body. You could tell she wasn't happy with it. But 6'10" spare, just take her time on this and run it down.
And she does a little arm swing at the back of the approach just to make sure things stay loose. So gets those feet squared up a little bit more, so she wants to make sure the ball goes to the right. Covers them both with the ball nicely. So here's where we stand with 2 frames to go. If Stephanie goes strike, spare, strike in the 9th and 10th frames, she would have 212. Nicole's maximum score right now with striking out would be 212 as well. So match isn't over here, but Steph needs to get a great foundation frame to put a little extra pressure on Nicole. That needs some help to hold. I really thought that was going to go high there, Chad.
It did. It did look like it was a little left off her hand, but either she caught a little bit of oil, she threw it a little harder, but it was a really nice shot.
Yeah, I mean, just watch the ball hit the pocket and just split everything up. Can't draw it up any prettier than that. And now Nicole knows she has to get out here and strike on a lane that she's found the last couple of shots on. But she's working on it open. You got to put that in the back of your mind and just get out there and throw. Looks nice out of her hand. A great shot.
Yeah. You know, win or lose, she's got to take home going, wow, I really adjusted to that right lane to a very difficult condition. I think she's done a fantastic job with that.
You know, and all these bowlers today, they had to adjust to 3 different lane conditions during qualifying. 3 games in a short pattern, a medium pattern, and a long pattern. Then we put the short and long patterns out here for the TV show they have to keep going back and forth on. It is a mental grind for these bowlers, and whoever comes out on top, let me tell you, they've earned it. Nice shot there by Nicole. No crossover first ball to 10th this time for her.
No, and this match is not over yet. This, once again, coming down to the 10th frame, this is exactly what you want to see.
See Ryan Zagar in the background there talking to Stephanie Schwartz and David Schwartz, and Ryan, you'll see on a boys show, he's got to get his way through the roll-off match like Nicole did to get any chance of winning the title. So he's another bowler who's going to have a lot of work cut out for him when he gets on TV. Nicole taking just a hair extra time. Plants herself up nice after 4 steps. Great. Wow. That's got to just insanely hurt when you throw the ball that well and you stone a 9-pin.
You know, that reminds me, I don't know if it was mid-90s, Randy Peterson was going for a tournament win, and if you go on YouTube, it's dubbed the worst break in all of bowling history, and he stoned an 8-pin like that, and that's exactly what she did. You can't throw the ball any better than that.
Well, at least she didn't fall in the approach in the fetal position like Randy did. We'll give Nicole some credit there. She got up to make the spare here. No, it's not over. That spare was huge because now that gives her 201. If Stephanie were to go 9 miss on her shot, she would throw 200.
Not trying to jinx you or anything.
Well, and we've seen Stephanie before up at the Sean Yonan. She was bowling Mandi Van Dyne up at the Sean Yonan Memorial Tournament. Needed to make a 10-pin in the 10th frame, missed it, but for her it was a tie. She got lucky it was a tie, and then she won the 2-frame roll-off. So she's going to have to make sure this ball is nice in the pocket, and that's just left out of her hand, and huge break to just leave a 6-pin.
Yeah, and it's a 6 versus a 10.
Yeah.
In a bowler's mind, you go, okay, a 6 is a little easier to approach than a 10-pin, but you still gotta run it down, so you can't go up there and just think you're gonna make it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Steph's probably learned from her past mistake there at the Onan. She's going to take a little extra time here and make sure she's mentally focused to get this pin covered. So she's going to make sure that ball gets out to the right. Knows she's made it. Now she's just got to stay behind the foul line to be the 2012 900 Global Summer Classic champion for the girls. Going to take home that $200 bonus scholarship thanks to New Berlin Bowl, 900 Global, and EFX Performance Gear. A great day for Stephanie. 753 on the long pattern. Even beat all the boys out there on the long pattern today. She's had probably the best year so far of the Wisconsin bowler in 2012 for the youth bowlers. A great finish. Chad and I are going to come back from New Berlin Bowl. We're going to wrap up this 900 Global Summer Classic. Make sure you join us, and we'll give you a preview of the boys' show as well. High Five Gear. Custom bowling and sports apparel as unique as you are. The only limitation is your imagination. highfivegear.com. Barbiere's, a Milwaukee institution since 1963. Great Italian food for dine-in or carry-out, and great times for your family and friends. Barbiere's, in the heart of South Milwaukee, and near Miller Park on Blue Mound Road. Well, Chad, the final match, 900 Global Summer Classic, as we like it, down to the 10th frame, back and forth the entire match. Nicole Powell gets up in the 10th frame. She could strike out to really put the pressure on Stephanie, gets the first one. Second ball of the 10th frame, just ouch is all you can say.
No, and I was really impressed with Nicole. She struggled on the long pattern throughout the entire final match, but she made an adjustment, left a 7-pin, got a strike, and then went in the 10th frame, had a chance to really take control of the match, got the first one, and just got a bad break, but it was a perfect shot.
Still put pressure on Stephanie to get up in the 10th frame and get a spare, though. And Stephanie came up a little high with the first ball, but not a problem. Covered the spare up, and with that, she's the 900 Global Summer Classic Girls Champion. So we're going to be back in New Berlin Bowl for the 900 Global Summer Classic Boys Show. Joy, Chad, and I back here for that. So for my friend Chad Source, I'm Phil Brylow, and parents, take the kids bowling. They'll have fun for life. We'll see you once again from New Berlin Bowl.